Back to that Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.
Welcome back to Times Square. Very honored to have my esteemed guest, Dr. Melissa Jane Kronfeld, joining us for a third segment. You're a national security expert. My good friend KT McFarland, who advised multiple presidents here in the United States in the Pentagon, a civilian equivalent of a 4-star, has said the very same thing on this show. So you're in good company in terms of what your fear and concern is. But my concern is that Biden, who has been, I would say, mediocre to tepid in what he's said, though my Israeli friends say that it's being received in Israel far more supportively than what it was perceived here. So I'm glad for that. Mm-hmm. But that he at some point will begin to be pressured and eventually ask Israel to do what American presidents have done far too much, which is put handcuffs on and not do the job that's necessary. And that if that happens, that is really the sign to the Arab street that the game is on, and everybody comes at you from each side. And it's not just Lebanon or Jordan or Syria, but Iran in full steam. And backed by people like Turkey and Russia and maybe even China, that there's this kind of global nexus of an axis of evil that can really unleash total hell.
I don't fear the loss of America for Israel. We're not a client state. They're not a colonial overlord of the United States. It is important to remember that America,
we're just a very close relationship.
Oh no, but so what I think is that too many people invest in a belief that, and you hear, especially from the diaspora Jews, and you hear it from Israelis, Israel needs America. No, Israel does not need America. Okay, Israel is an ancient people. It's an ancient nation. It's an ancient kingdom. We've been here longer than most other people. We're the people of the book, the best-selling book of all time, and that book was around long before the United States. So my view on this is extremely different. America has been a friend and ally to the United States. Okay, Truman aside, Truman aside, and then accepting being the first country to acknowledge Israel's existence, but or the establishment of the modern state of Israel. But let us be very clear. It was Henry Kissinger and Henry Kissinger alone that established the policy under Republican President Nixon that they would be an ally and supporter of Israel, full force, no questions asked. Okay, I'm not old enough to remember the 70s. I was born in 82, but I know that that's almost as old as I am. And so what I think is very important to remember is it was France and the UK, despite the problems during the mandate, that stepped in those inter-years to help Israel, train Israel, give Israel weapons. America's relationship with Israel, although special and important because of America's position in the world, is not something that I have ever believed will last forever or nor be more important. And I think I think this is the time. America's waning influence means it means nothing to Israel. It means that America is waning and we'll go find the next people. I am a realist. I am a hardcore realist. And at the end of the day, if it means teaming up with some less savory folks and maintaining the state of Israel and keeping good in the world and being a light into the nations, well, then that may have to happen. But I do not put any stock whatsoever in the American-Israeli relationship. America needs to get their collective, together. And the fact that you have in your Congress, I'm so American, sorry, but the fact that you have in the Congress a Palestinian terrorist, a Somali terrorist, a terrorist from Queens, and wherever Cori Bush is from, who knows, Michigan, I don't know, she's just outrageous. But the squad to me is indicative of the fact that America's special relationship with Israel actually doesn't mean anything. And as soon as those women and their associated male friends came into office, that was when it became very apparent to me that what I have always believed, that the relation between the United States of America is simply incumbent upon who is in office and the power America has in the world. So now you have some of the most, with Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson, Baruch Hashem aside, I love that man, Temple Mount support. Oh, I'm so excited for that. But where America is now, to me, is an indication that Israel needs to start looking for a new boyfriend.
Well, and I hope that whatever that degree of truth or untruth, perception that you have about the situation, my prayer is that America doesn't abandon Israel
Yes.
in any way, because we benefit as a nation by
We do.
blessing those that God said would be blessed if we blessed them. So to me, it's so much bigger than just the geopolitical stuff. We've got 2 minutes left, and you've been so generous with your time tonight. My people pray, people that watch my show and listen, intercede on people's behalf because they love and care about the Israeli existence and the Jewish people. What would you ask of my people tonight?
So first of all, your prayers matter now more than ever. The great thing about being Jewish is that it's like reading the last page of the book or watching the final scene of the movie before it starts. We all know how the story ends. It may take a while, it may be ugly, a lot of people may die, and a lot of horrible, awful things like the Holocaust that I just lived through and witnessed is going to happen. But the fact of the matter is that all of your listeners and all of your watchers need to understand that we win in the end. That's it. It's the end of the story. That's the last page. Like, it's what we say at our holidays. They tried to kill us. We live. Now let's eat. Like, it's going to be okay. We're going to win the war. We're going to have the Messiah, Mashiach. We're going to build a third temple. We're going to all, at some point, maybe all be together in Israel, and the world will be a much better place. So, like, that's the most important thing to remember. We know how the story ends.
Yeah.
We don't know how we get there, but we know how the story ends. And if you start with that, then everything else is a lot easier. Second, send your prayers our way. My project, highinthehar.com, has a place now where you can actually enter in prayers. I will personally take them to the Temple Mount.
Spell that for me, because I think there may be people watching that want to help you advance the Temple Mount advocacy.
Yeah, so it's high, like I walk up high on the har, which is Hebrew for a mountain, Har, high on the har. So I'm high on Har Bayis, high on the mountain, high on the Temple Mount on Mount Moriah. And so if you want to go there and put your prayers, and you don't need to leave your name or a number or email, you could just do it anonymously. I personally take every prayer that comes in every Sunday morning to the Temple Mount, and I pray for you. Wow. Your prayers matter now more than ever before. This is the moment that we read about in the book. This is good versus evil, and you need to stand with good, because God will judge you for the things that you say and the things that you do right now. I'll judge you too, but God's going to judge you. So watch out.
His judgment matters a lot more than any human judgment.
Yeah, well, I may be more wrathful. So
Melissa Jane Kronfeld, who started this interview receiving an intrusion or a missile alert coming into Tel Aviv, thank you for taking the time to be with us. A very special conversation, and we will be back in touch soon.
Ready or not, we'll be right back.